Hello, World on Twist, and welcome back to Raw Recap and Review. Today's episode is from February 16th, 2026 in Memphis, Tennessee, and this is part 2 of Raw Recap and Review. So if you haven't seen part 1 of Raw Recap and Review, why are you here? Click right there, watch part 1, get off the video, and then come back to the video if you've seen part 1. But if you have seen part 1, welcome back. You know, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're watching both of the videos. Where we left off with Stephanie Verker making Liv Morgan crying in an interview with Michael Cole. And now we're back into the ring, and we have the best in the world, CM Punk, popping out for a promo. He got to get his shit off, you know. He goes for, isn't it great to be alive and on Monday night in Memphis or what? The crowd pop. And he says, you know, the people in the back, Adam Pearce, are mad at me. They saying I'm trying to jeopardize WrestleMania. But he says, I ain't jeopardizing WrestleMania. I'm doing what the people need. I'm trying to fight for the people. The people deserve a fighting champion, and that's what I'm here to be. He says he had a conversation about deserving and earning. He said Finn Balor a couple weeks ago deserved that fight Belfast for the belt because Finn Balor's that guy. He has a good repertoire. He earned this fight with him now at Elimination Chamber, not because he deserves to fight him, because he wanted to ruin his match against AJ Styles and wants to fight him. So now he really want to give Finn Balor an ass whooping. He really wants to smoke with Finn, right? He gonna keep doing things that piss people off and talk about things that piss people off because that's the type of person he is. The type of people that's the type of person that people need. He said the people wouldn't like him if he didn't do that. And at least the Finn Balor popping out, and he not by himself. He popped out with Dominic Mysterio with him. He ain't just popped out with Dominic. He popped out with JD McDonough. JD is back. He got the squad with him. He walked down to the ring. They pull up Shield style. They get on the top of the rope, and then Finn's like, "Hold on, chill out, Punk. I ain't here to fight you. He get into the ring, and he says, you know, Punk, to be the best in the world, you gotta fight the best dojos in Japan. You gotta fight the best luchadors. You gotta fight the best catch wrestlers in Europe. You gotta pull up your first night on Raw and beat Roman Reigns. So if you tell me, I'm already the best in the world." And he says, I am the best in the world. And he says, when I beat you at Elimination Chamber and I get that belt, and then I go to WrestleMania, I'm finna make it better with him against Roman Reigns. And then Punk says, "Oh, okay. Why you out here with these two idiots?" Because you talk about what you did in the past, going to Japan, Mexico and Europe. You say, but the thing is though, you did it by yourself. You ain't had no lackeys with you. You ain't do these things with some help on your side. He said, so how you gonna be the best in the world if you doing that with some help? He said, you used to be something in life, man. Now you just a punk. He said, you let the Judgment Day anchor you down. They held you back for years. You know what? I'm gonna prove a point. If you really about it, if you really a man, you really gonna do this by yourself, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna assume you're not gonna jump me with your man. Then Finn is like just looking menacingly. And JD actually tried to go over there and fight, bro. But Finn held him back and said, nah, don't fight him. That leads to Punk going outside the ring to the apron. He threw the mic at Finn. He walks out. He said, "Hey, I'm never scared to turn my back with somebody that I'm not scared of and I don't respect." Next up, we get into our third match of the night, and it is the number one contendership for the IC title. We have El Grande Americano against a surprise opponent who ends up being Penta. Settle. Yeah. We get into the match, and it is a tie-up instantly. That leads to them, El Grande moving Penta to the corner. The ref breaks it up, obviously, and then Penta and El Grande hits him with a big slap. That leads to a push contest between the competitors, and then they start just chopping each other back and forth, and it finishes off with a Penta super kick. It leads to Penta hitting with a backstabber, but El Grande fights back with a big headbutt, but then Penta gets right back into it with a springboard clothesline, El Grande, and we get to a commercial break after that. That's like the quickest commercial break I've seen for a match in a minute. Get back from the commercial break with Penta on the top rope, lands a big crossbody onto El Grande, and then hits him with a reverse sling blade. Grande going to the corner. Penta does the jumping kick onto El Grande right there, and then does the delayed on top of the corner turnbuckle into the basement drop kick down there. He goes for the pin. He gets a kick out from El Grande. Then Penta tries to get the match over. He goes for the Penta driver, but it gets reversed into a submission hold by El Grande. It's like a sleeper hold, but his knees on his back. That gets turned into a pin by Penta, but he kicks out of it and then tries to go for a move on El Grande, but El Grande catches him and lands him down with a Death Valley driver. He goes for a pin there, but he gets a kick out from Penta. That leads to Grande landing chops on Penta, but then he turns them chops into a Penta driver. He goes for the pin there. 1, 2. Kick out from El Grande. He's still in the match. And then we get into the trickery. Rayo gets on the top rope, tries to attack Penta, but he gets reversed by Penta. Penta hits him, knocks him down to the ground. But that leads to El Grande taking advantage of hitting Penta with a headbutt, and then goes over to Bravo on the outside trying to ask for the metal plate. Bravo tries to give him the metal plate. Someone drags him down to the bottom of the ring. And that leads to Rayo trying to help, trying to figure out who threw him down there. And obviously who was down there was the OG El Grande Americana. OG now fights Rayo. He hits him with a German suplex. Bravo gets back from underneath the ring, tries to fight OG, but he gets a hip toss into the announce table by OG. Then OG has a face-off with El Grande Americano that leads to Penta, while he's distracted, jumping on the ropes into a springboard Mexican destroyer. That was insane. 1, 2, 3. Penta gets the dub. He is now the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. I give that match 3.5-star match. I feel like it would have been like a cool 3-star, good back and forth. But that Mexican destroyer springboard, crazy. I hope that's in the new game, and I will be playing the new game anyway till it comes out. After the match, Penta has a little face off with the OG El Grande. They have a little dap up, and that leads to OG now trying to attack El Grande Americano. He's whooping him back and forth, tries to go for the mask again, but the Americanos, Rayo and Bravo, save the day, and they drag El Grande away from OG Grande. After that match, we get a segment backstage with the Judgment Day. Liv is still sad about the interview. Raquel takes Liv away, to get some fresh air, and it leads to Finn and JD walking in, arguing about what's going on. JD believes that Punk is in Finn's head, and that he should have let them whoop Punk to make fighting him easier. But Finn says, hold on, bro, I gotta prove myself that I can beat him by myself with no help. And he wants to do it alone. He says, if you really want to help me, let me fight Punk alone. And then Dom's like, hey y'all, but I need some help. I need some help about my match tonight. But they just walk away, and Dom's like, but I need help too. After that, we get into a promo from Light It Up, Light It, Light It, Light It Tonight, Light It Up. We get AJ Lee and them cold abs she got. I know she don't eat no bread, but AJ Lee gets down to the ring, mentions how last week, she popped out for moral support for Maxine into a title shot for the IC belt. And she says she hasn't had a singles match in 10 years, and especially not for no title. And she said, the last title she had was the Divas Championship, which was a sparkly butterfly belt. And she says that she loved it though, because she made that belt. And she said she made that division, There was a division before she got there, and there was a division after her. But without her, this new division that they got now, it wouldn't exist. And she says, I'm not going to be modest. I know who I am. And she wants to fight the best of the best. She goes Bailey, Lyra, Rhea, Io, Charlotte, Alexa, Kabuki Warriors. She wants to fight all the best. But she got to knock down one person first. She got to knock down Becky Lynch. You don't know why Becky be hating her, probably because fans love her. She sell more merch than her. She probably get more money than her. She said, she's like, I don't know why Becky be hating her. She said she gave her a 10-year head start, and she still didn't catch up on her. I'm like, ooh. AJ on her head, but she gives Becky her props. She says, without Becky, she probably wouldn't be Becky, but now with Becky, she know when she whoop her, she gonna walk into WrestleMania as that IC champ. Last week, you hit me with a surprise, knocked me to the corner. So Becky, why don't you pop out and let me run my fade real quick? That leads for Becky to pop out. And she says, this match at Elimination Chamber is an opportunity for you to have your last hurrah. Have your little retirement match, because I'm finna whoop you in front of your fans and your family. She says, I'm gonna put you in a full body cast. You're gonna be messed up. And that for the last 10 years, she been making history. And for the last 10 years, she been at home making comic books. Becky goes on to say that she's the greatest of all time. Has the whole spiel, Sports Illustrated says it, not just her, But AJ Lee don't care about us. She said, you know what, Becky? Why don't you just get in the ring and run my fade, man? Just run my fade. But Becky, just make it seem like she's gonna walk. She pumps fake. She's like, You know what? I'm not stupid. You want me to mess up the match, so I whoop you today. You don't want. You can't fight me now. You want to delay it. But Lay's like, hold on now. You know what? Get in the ring. You get your first blow. I ain't scared. Throw the mic down. She put her hands behind her back. Let her get the first swing in. But Becky says, I'm not doing it. And then walks away and says, I don't fight in Memphis. So I wonder who's gonna win that match. I wonder who's gonna win that match in Elimination Chamber, man. It's really interesting. I really don't know. And now we get our last backstage segment of the night. We get the Vision waiting at Adam Pearce's door, and Theory again presses Adam Pearce. Says, "How you gonna let Logan Paul get stumped by that masked man?" He's like, Pearce like, "Yes, I know it's a problem. I know I need to get the problem finished, you know." But Bronson said, "Oh, it's a problem. I'm gonna handle that problem." And Theory, and then Pearce is like, "Thank you." He's like, "Oh, you thanking me?" You gonna thank me, alright? I'm like, man, if y'all don't just, I don't know why, but I feel like Adam Pearce is somehow gonna fight one of these dudes, bro, and it's gonna be funny if it happens. But now we are into our main event of the evening. It is a triple threat match to be it's a triple threat qualifier for the Elimination Chamber match. We have Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio versus that boy Bouncy Jevon Evans, the GOAT. We first off the match. They're all in the ring, and Dominic leaves the ring, and then Gunther and Jevon like, bro, get back in the ring, bro. Run that fade, bro. Get back in the ring. Dom gets back into the ring, and Jevon instantly goes for Gunther's leg, but Gunther picks up Jevon, slams him on the ground, and then that leads to Dom instantly leaving the ring again, and then Gunther gets Jevon into the corner, hits him with a big chop. Dom runs in out of nowhere, hits Jevon with a big chop, and then Gunther's like, "What you doing, bro?" He's like, "I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to work together." And that leads to Dominic running away from Gunther, and that leads to Jevon grabbing Gunther, hitting him with big punches, hitting him with drop kick. He tries to go for another drop kick on Gunther again, but he gets caught, and Gunther turned into a Boston Crab. That leads to Dominic making a very dumb decision and then chopping Gunther while he's doing the Boston Crab. Gunther gets up, says, "You really want to mess with me?" Big chop to Dom, knocks him down. Gunther then walks with Jevon, who Jevon does a kip up kick into Gunther, and then hits him with a drop kick again. Then hits the rope, and then hits a low kick to Gunther on the ground. And then as Gunther's on the ground, he hits a Hurricanrana on Dom. Then he chops him in the corner. Now he has Dominic again. He tries to go for the bouncy Rana, but when he bounces off the rope, Gunther hits him with a big chop to the chest. He knocks him down on the ground, and that leads to Gunther grabbing Dominic, throws him outside of the ring, and then slams him multiple times into the barricade. And as he's holding, Dominic tries to go for a powerbomb sequence. Jevon does the Undertaker dive to the outside onto both competitors, and that's how we get to the commercial break. We get back from the commercial break with Dominic doing a rest hold choke onto Jevon, and as that's happening, they show a replay of what happened during the commercial break, and Dominic grabbed the hammer that is used for the ring bell. We get back into the ring though with in the chokehold, and Jevon gets back up, but Dom slams him back down into the ground. Then he hits, then he places Jevon onto the ropes for the 619. As he hits the rope for the 619, Gunther grabs Dominic and then puts him in a sleeper hold. But that leads to Jevon hitting a super kick onto Gunther, and then hitting a Superman punch onto Dominic, and then Dom into the corner, and then lands a diving elbow onto Dom, and then he jumps off the bottom rope into a springboard spinning kick. That move is so cold, bro. That boy Jevon gonna be all right, bro. That leads to him Irish whipping Dom into the ropes, hits him with a big blue thunder bomb slam. But Gunther gets into the ring, hits Jevon with a sleeper hold. Jevon finds a way to get Gunther into the corner, fights off, tries to go for the super kick. It gets caught. It gets reversed by Gunther, but it drops down. Dumbass. Another kick to Gunther down, but Gunther acts like it didn't matter, chops him down, and then picks up Jevon. Then he just chops Jevon on the ground. Then he picks up Dom, goes for a power bomb, and slams him into Jevon. Then he picks up Jevon to go for a power bomb, but as he goes for the power bomb, it gets reversed into a Hurricanrana pin. He kicks out of the pin, Gunther, but he gets up, big clothesline to Jevon, and then hits him with a power bomb. 1, 2, kick out from Jevon, man. He's still in the match. Now Gunther's upset. He just kicks both of them down while they're on the ground. multiple kicks, and then he picks him up hits him with multiple chops, and then that leads to Jevon getting up and trying to punch Gunther, but Gunther just hits him with a big chop onto Jevon, but then Jevon fights out of that with a big kick to Gunther, and then lands a red dot on Dom, which is him bouncing off the rope into that spinning kick. But then he gets hit by a chop by Gunther. Gunther then tries to go for a German suplex on him, but it gets reversed, and Jevon doing a running knee on the Gunther, but Dominic stops the pin. That leads to Dominic going on the top rope now, trying to land a frog splash onto Gunther, but Gunther puts his knees up to reverse it, and that leads to Jevon doing a springboard crossbody onto Gunther. Jevon is now fighting back and forth with Gunther. He gets on the top rope, goes for the moonsault. Gunther gets out the way, and he ends up catching Jevon as he hits the ground. When he lands on his feet into a sleeper hold, but Jevon turns that into a stunner. Fights off of that and tries to go for the OG cutter, jumps off the rope, and then gets caught by Gunther again, and then he lands the sleeper on him. As he's landing the sleeper, he goes down to the ground. That leads to Dominic going on the top rope and landing the frog splash onto the competitors. Then he tries to go for the 619 on Gunther, but as he's hit the ropes, Gunther hits him with a big clothesline. As Dom's on the ground, he goes over to the steel steps and tries to grab the little hammer that he grabbed earlier. Gunther fights that off. He grabs the hammer from him and picks up Dominic and goes for the sleeper there. But as he's going for the sleeper on Dominic, Jevon runs up and then lands a sleeper on Gunther. Gunther reverses that into a German suplex on Jevon and then kicks Dominic to the outside. And now Gunther gets the hammer and then tries to hit Dominic with it, but Dragon Lee out of nowhere grabs the ring bell, jumps off the barricade, and smacks Gunther with it on the outside. That leads to Dominic getting back into the ring, and he tries to land a 619 on Jevon. He does land a 619 on Jevon. He goes to the top rope to finish it off, goes for the frog splash. Jevon gets out the way, he reverses it, and then jumps off into an OG cutter on Dom, and that gets a 1, 2, 3, man. That boy bouncy. I get that match a 4.5 star match. Good back and forth. You know, good heel heat with Dominic trying to be scary. You know, Gunther still looks dominant. He only loses the match because he got interrupted by Dragon Lee. And Jevon undefeated in February. Black History Month. Jevon going to the Elimination Chamber actually surprised me. I thought Gunther would have won this match. Jevon looks great. I feel like Jevon is the future of this business. With Obafemi and Trick Williams is looking right. Shawn Michaels did his job, man. He got these boys right. I can't wait to see what's going to be going on in that chamber. He's definitely going to do some extreme stuff in that chamber that's going to look crazy. Next week, we won't have any Raw recap and reviews or review for the Elimination Chamber because I will be on vacation and I will not have the abilities to record these videos and edit and do stuff like that. So next week, there will be no uploads, but right back in March, we will be right back. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more wrestling content and discussions. Twist, I'm out.